Okay guys, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle, and for a change it's actually getting recorded probably about the time I used to make these. It's 9 minutes past 7 on Friday night, so yeah, I hope you're all wonderful. What happened to the weather today? Bloody hell. I got up usual time and I was literally just about to, it was 10 to 7 in the morning, literally just about to leave, and my work's phone went. Now when your work's phone goes at 10 to 7 in the morning, you automatically think it's going to be something bad. Well, I suppose technically it was. It was my boss asking me what the weather was like, and I said, well, it's about 2 inches of snow, and she told me apparently the motorway was closed, and it turns out it was absolutely pandemonium through in South Lanarkshire where I work. So yeah, I worked from home today, which is the first time I've done that in this job, and I've got to say it was wonderful. It was really good. Being able to use the two screens was a big plus the fact that I finished at 4 o'clock, which meant come 4 o'clock I was already home, so it was a win-win situation. Fortunately the snow's kind of buggered off now. It's been raining kind of most of the day, so the weather's kind of, well, I wouldn't say it's improved, but at least it's not snowing. Yeah, I managed to get my work's email through the computer, and I also managed to set up a Citrix thing, whatever the hell that is, and it allows me to access my work stuff remotely. So that's that's really good to know, because not that I'm ever going to start kind of working, you know, after hours, but the problem I've got with my job is I start an hour earlier than most people, and I also finish an hour earlier, which means when I finish and then I come in on Monday morning, there's always a huge amount of emails, because that last hour, I don't know what it is with the last hour in my work, but it just seems to generate a lot of sort of email traffic. So you know, it's a pain in the arse, because you come in, you think you're up to date with your emails, or as up to date as you can possibly be, and then you come in Monday morning and there's about 20 emails. So it means I can, you know, if I've got a spare 10 minutes, I can just kind of jump into my work's emails, have a look, maybe tidy them up a wee bit. So that was good. So yeah, that was my Friday. What have I been doing this week? What have I been doing? Been making a few videos. I've connected up. Hopefully you can see it. I've connected up my my Atari. I don't know why I'm pointing it. You can see it quite clearly. Now it's this webcam. I am actually asking for. I should really sit back here. There you go. Is that better? Yeah, that's a bit better. What was I going to say there? Yeah, the webcam that I'm using at the moment, as I say, I think it was about 50 quid. Which I thought would be quite a good one, but it turns out it's pretty pants. I'm going to come closer, because you know what? I'm convinced that the sound quality is going to be crap, because I'm using the Windows camera app thing. Now, I'm sure when I recorded the waffle last week, it was using my the microphone from the webcam, which I think is crap, rather than my Yax thing. Now, I don't really know how to change it, so it might well be I'm using the crap one again, so hopefully you can hear me okay. What was I talking about? What the hell was I talking about? Yeah, I sold my Commodore 1084S monitor, sold that a couple of days ago to this girl, and I know she's absolutely delighted with it, so great stuff. It's nice to see stuff get passed on to someone else, and somebody's going to get use out of it, because as much as it is a lovely monitor, I mean, you're not going to get a more authentic way to really play video games than on like an old school monitor. But the problem I had with it, I don't know whether the cable from Amiga was a bit kind of loose, whatever, but sometimes it would the picture would kind of jump a wee bit, and plus the fact is I couldn't really use it for anything else. So I could technically use it for my C64, I suppose, and possibly my Atari, but the fact that it's such a fat, kind of sticky outy monitor meant that, you know, space was a premium. So having this funky, I don't even know what it is, it's a kind of unbranded monitor, it means I've got my NEX connected up to it, I've got my Amiga connected up to it, and I've connected up my Atari 8-bit, and it's fantastic being able to play some games. I mean, what was I playing last night? I was playing a bit of Stealth, I was playing some Bruce Lee, and I was also playing Drop Zone. I think I will actually do another video all about the Atari 800, excuse me. I mean, I did do one many years ago, but I think it's as I've said before, as much as the C64 is my computer, it's the one that I've got all the memories from, it's the one that I owned back in the day. I've got this real love affair with the Atari 8-bit. I think they're wonderful machines. I mean, they were way ahead of their time. They came out before the C64, they came out before the Spectrum. I think they might have even came out before the VIC-20. And when you see how powerful they are, you know, I mean, it's got a quick processor. Oh yeah, I was also playing the Eidolon as well, and that's a beautiful game, especially in the Atari. It's a classic system. And I did post a picture on Facebook last night, I think it was, basically saying that the Atari is probably the most underrated home computer ever. It's, especially in the 8-bits, it's a wonderful machine. If you ever get the chance to buy an Atari, go and do it. You can buy some really nice bits of SD card things from a guy called Lotharek, who hails from Poland. Now, I think Lotharek still makes stuff. I'm not going to put a link down to his channel. Just it's Lother Lothar EK, I think it is. Lotharek. He makes all these really funky bits of hardware. I've got a kind of cartridge for the that takes an SD card for the Atari, and I've also got this. It's a kind of virtual floppy drive. It's absolutely fantastic. So I am going to do a video of that at some point. So that's kind of been it from a gaming point of view. I was playing, in fact, just before I came up here to record this, I put my main cab on, and I don't know if I've mentioned it, I was very luckily, I was given a set of big speakers. These are now, I would guarantee, I'm not going to tell you where I got them, or sorry, who I got them from, but this person has got a bit of money, and when he asked me if I would like, if anybody would like these, I put my hand up, and I will guarantee they're probably worth a fair bit of money. So what I've done is I've got it connected to my Alexa, and she's going to start talking. She's not listening. I've got it connected to that thing. There it is there, that thing there. Can't even do it. That thing there, yeah. I've got it connected to that down in the kitchen, and the sound is just awesome. So what I did was I put on a shoot 'em up, and I put a bit of Howard Jones on, and you know what? It was just like being back in 1984 all over again, having 80s music playing while playing video games. Superb. So anyway, listen, I've not really got an awful lot to talk about tonight, so I'm just going to just dive straight in with the questions. In fact, just before I start, I did show you. I was going to say show you briefly. I did show you some of the CoinOps Next. Sorry, it's just CoinOps, I think it's called. CoinOps Next. Yeah, I showed you some of that in the 5-hour live stream. And I've downloaded a few more kind of packs for it, and you know what, it is unbelievable. Trust me, if you ever get the opportunity to download them, I mean, all the games are freely available, then you should go and get them. It's I'm not going to tell you where, but just suffice to say, the word arcade, and then think of the Sex Pistols. Put the two words together. Sex Pistols, what kind of music did they come up with? Put the two words together, you'll get a website, and go to CoinOps Next, and you can download all these packs. Now, I mean, I think I have downloaded about 6 terabytes of stuff, which has taken me a long time, but you know what, I could probably not have any other computer games at all, and that CoinOps would never ever leave me high and dry, because there is just so much. I mean, I would probably say 99% of the games are no longer available. You can't buy them anywhere. I think some of the PC games that are included may well be commercially available, so you know, you need to be careful. But yeah, all that, everything else, I mean, there's systems like the Ouya, I think it's called, and it's awesome. It's like a kind of Amiga. It's like a cross between an Amiga and I don't know, the Xbox 360. It's wonderful. It really is. So what I'm going to do is, there's also a pack called Vertical Shoot 'em Ups. There's a pack called Twin Stick Shooters. So what I'm going to do is, on a Sunday stream, in fact I might even do, it doesn't have to be a Sunday stream, I might do a midweek stream. I'm going to do like a twin stick shooter special, because you know, as much as Robotron is a superb game, there are some modern games that have the same game mechanics and they're just absolutely sublime. So I am going to do that, but this Sunday it's going to be part 2 of the Atari ST. So hopefully you can join me. It's going to be 7 o'clock to 9, back to the usual kind of schedule. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the questions over here to this monitor, so it kind of looks like I'm facing forwards. So let me have a wee look. Yeah, I was talking about, what was I talking about? I was talking about thumb downs, and Lacosa is saying here, the only thing that affects a video on YouTube is views. The higher the views, the higher the video appears in search results. As for people not getting a joke, I can't imagine what that's like. Yeah, it was, what do you call it? It was my intermission, you know, technical fault video for, was it last week or the week before? And I had about 6 thumbs down. People just don't get it. I really don't get that myself. Anyway, right, wee Bob Art, thank you Bob, enjoyed the waffle and thanks for answering my questions. Question for next week. Number 1, I recently found out that some Mega Drive games were larger in size due to containing extra hardware to provide a boost to the game, or was it just a memory slot? Do you know from your experience what the main driver for this was? I'll be honest Bob, I didn't own a Mega Drive back in the day, so I mean, I've only owned a Mega Drive, I don't know, for the last maybe 10 years. The only cartridges that I can recall having extra hardware, and I don't think it was really to make games run quicker or anything, was, what do you call it, was it Micro Machines? I'm sure it was Micro Machines. It came out with a 4-player, I think the cartridge came out with a 4-player adapter, and also Pete Sampras Tennis, it had a 4 adapter, which, well, I think it was a 4 adapter, or was it 3, and then you had the other ones, you could basically have 4 people, so you could play doubles. But I don't recall any games having advanced hardware for a game. I think some of the cartridges, I mean certainly things like the Neo Geo, and I'm sure the SNES as well, they came with bigger memory. I mean, they used to say like 32 megabit and 64 megabit. I don't think they were the megabits that you and I would associate with, but I think you did get sort of bigger memory cartridges to kind of get more game on. But I can't recall any game utilising, you know, more powerful hardware. I don't recall. That's not to say it didn't happen, Bob. Like I said, I never actually had one. I know the SNES, obviously, you had your Star Fox or Star Wing, I think it was called, in Japan. I don't know what one was what. Then you also had that, what was it? Stunt Race Effects or something. It was by the same company. Yeah, you had this kind of big beach buggy. It kind of reminded me of Buggy Boy, but nowhere near as good. And I mean, playing it nowadays, it's mega jerky. But yeah, I can't recall any additional hardware, Bob. But like I said, that's not to say it didn't happen. If anybody knows differently, please put your comments down below. Number 2, oh no, sorry, yeah, for next, he's right there, number 1, that was number 1 question. Number 2, were the Segas of the world playing for time while developing the 32X Saturn? Just interested to know what extra features were added to cartridges before cartridge-based games. Were the Segas of the world playing for time while developing the right, I got you. Sorry Bob, I should have really finished the question before I tried to answer it. Yeah, like I says, I really don't know. I mean, the funny thing is, I would almost say that the 32X was an additional bit of hardware to try and buy some time, because I mean, the 32X came out, I think, not long before the Sega Saturn came out. And you know, whilst the 32X is a nice bit of hardware. I mean, I stupidly sold mine for about 40 quid about 3 years ago. They go for daft money now. Do I wish I still had it? Nah, not particularly. The thing is, the Mega Drive emulation is absolutely spot on, so I can play it on my Raspberry Pis, I can play it on my PC, I can play it on handheld, so I don't really miss a 32X. I just wish I'd sold it for more money, but hey ho. Yeah, I mean, the 32X came out just before the Sega Saturn, and I can't think for the life of me why anybody would want to buy it, because the Sega Saturn, the 32X, I believe, was still 16-bit. So if you'd bought that, and then your mate bought a machine which was virtually twice as powerful, you'd have been absolutely gutted. And I think that's why the 32X bombed big style, because it came out way too late. Or technically, did it come out way too late? I could rephrase that. I could say it didn't come out too late, but they released the Sega Saturn far too close to when the 32X came out. So, like I says, if it was your birthday coming up in a few months' time, and then you wanted a 32X, and then you knew that the Sega Saturn was coming out, it's a no-brainer. You're going to buy the 32X. Anyway, yeah, like I says, if anyone knows, was there any extra hardware built into any cartridges on the Mega Drive, please answer it or put your comments down below. Colin Jones is saying, I can't work properly without multiple monitors these days. It's like the screen real estate. Yeah, well, as I mentioned last week, Colin, I mean, thanks to Panther for even suggesting it. I don't know how I've managed to use a computer with one screen. I mean, it is fine with one screen, but when you're doing things like this, recording videos, etc., it's an absolute boon. Even working today, I had my Outlook Express in that screen, and I had my Excel spreadsheet open in the other screen. It makes a huge difference. Anyway, Colin, you're asking a question here. What do you consider to be the biggest waste of money, if anything, in the time you've been collecting historical gear? I'm sure I got asked that a few weeks ago, and I can't remember what I said. The biggest waste of money. I mean, probably the most expensive thing I've bought would be my recent arcade cabinet. I mean, it was 500 quid. I did save up. I think I had £380 of that, which I raised through selling stuff. I think that's the most expensive. Well, I mean, yeah, you're talking about historical gear. I mean, I spent more on a graphics card in VR, but I think the biggest waste of money. I mean, my arcade cabinet, I love it to bits. That is absolutely not a waste of money. I'm trying to think of anything. I'm just kind of looking about. I don't know, and it kind of pains me to say this, but I bought it's called a Neo Geo MVS consoleized console. That's wrong. Basically, it's the MVS is an arcade board, and what some clever person has done is they've built it into a kind of console. So I've got that sitting beneath my my Sony CRT, and you know what? I don't think I've switched it on in 2 years. I did play it briefly for, you know, when I first got it, and then I moved to this house, and I don't think I've actually switched it on. Again, I think the reason being is the Neo Geo is one of these systems, it's just emulated so well, and so I don't really have any urge to switch it on. I know I should. The thing is, as well, is I've got one of these multiple cartridges, and about 90, well, not 99%, that's ridiculous. I would say maybe 80% of the games are beat 'em ups, and I'm not a beat 'em up fan, so I don't know, it's just something I've not really used. I wasn't using the Switch for a while. I've started playing that a lot, got myself Pikmin Pikmin 3 Deluxe, fantastic. If you like Pikmin or you like puzzle games, it's a cute puzzle game, but you know what? It's one of my favourite video games ever. It's an absolute cracking game, and being able to play it on a handheld as well is superb. So yeah, the Switch, maybe if you'd asked me a year ago, I would say possibly a bit of waste of money, but I've got into it now. I've got all these other games. I've got like Virtua Race and I've got Outrun on it, so that's getting a bit of use. My Virtua Boy, yeah, it's not been getting used, if I'm being honest. I think part of that is, and it's got nothing to do with the whole headache thing that people moan about all the time. I love how people probably moan about it and they've never even tried it, because it's such a rare bit of equipment. I think very few people have actually tried it. But yeah, I think because it's so delicate and it's not the most comfortable thing to have on, you've got to have it at the correct angle. Again, I've just never used it. I'm one of these people. I've become very, very lazy when it comes to SD card things. That's why I don't really buy games, because if I can get a ROM for a game, I'll just use that. I'll use the SD card thing. So maybe I feel bad since I wasted money. If it's what expensive thing have you bought that you don't really use? I would say the Virtua Boy. I would say my Neo Geo. My Atari 800, the original one, the one I love. I don't use it because, again, I've got the little that Atari sitting behind me. It's a 130 XL or XL. I can't remember. 130. I think it's XS or something it's called. It's got 128k memory. I don't need to plug in the Atari 800, and I know that is worth a bit of cash. I've also got the Sword M5, which I have been toying with buying. If anybody's interested in it, maybe let me know. It's worth a bit of money, and I could probably use the money for other things. I am trying to kind of get some money put together. So yeah, there are a few things, but I don't think there's ever been any one thing. I did buy, what did I buy? I bought a digital camera, a DLSR, whatever it's called. One of the big funky ones with a proper camera. I don't mean a phone. I mean, I paid maybe a couple £100 for it, and then I got a decent phone, and I quickly realised that my phone takes just as good pictures with it. So why would I want to fanny about with this big camera? So I sold it. I sold that. That was the money that I got for that went towards my my new main cab. But yeah, I think that's probably it, Colin. Del Boy, very late. Sorry, if there was a Vectrex 2021 console to be released, what would you like its main features to be, and would you want backwards compatibility for all those users who've never seen or played one? Absolutely, Dale. I would definitely buy one. I mean, that would be a dream come true. I couldn't even begin to imagine how much that would cost. What features would I want? I would definitely want it to be backwards compatible, and I would want it, well, obviously you're saying colour. Did you say? No, you didn't say that, sorry. I've just assumed that. It would have to be colour. Can you imagine playing some of these? I mean, the games that I've got for it now, I've got the overlays. Can you imagine having a vector game that just was able to do that? Imagine playing Tempest or Star Wars, with all the different colours. I would want it to have more memory, faster processor. I wouldn't really change the controller. I think the controller's lovely. Maybe a few more buttons. Definitely colour. And yeah, I think that would be it. Dale, definitely buy one. If anyone knows anyone that's selling one, let me know. And Panther UK, cracking waffle, and glad my screen suggestion worked out for you, mate. It certainly did, Panther. Who is your favourite least hated of the gaming mascots from all the way up to the present? Favourite and least hated. Alright, so you're not actually, you don't want to know my most hated one. I'm not a gaming mascots. What gaming mascots have you got? You've got Zelda, although technically Zelda is the princess. Zelda is not the actual character that you play. I can't even remember what the name of the character is. That's terrible. Call yourself a video game and I can't remember what you're called. But Zelda is the princess. Let me think. I'm not a mass. That's my washing machine making funny noises. I'm not a massive fan of Sonic, I have to say. It's a bit too namby-pamby. I'm not even a huge fan of Mario, if I'm being honest, but I would rather be Mario than Sonic in a game. I think it's just an age thing. I mean, what age would I be? I would be about 24 when Sonic the Hedgehog came out, so I never really got to actually play that until about 10 years ago when I first got my my Mega Drive. Any other... I mean, I can't stand... This will come as no surprise, I can't stand the characters that you play in Rainbow Islands. These little kids with these huge big bloody eyes, I can't stand them. I'm not a fan of the kind of manga stuff. Don't mind Bub and Bob, I'm not a fan of Bubble Bobble, but I think the little baddies, little guys you play do look quite cute. Anything else? Any other annoying or really ones that you like? One of the ones that I did like, and I think it only had one game or possibly two, was Cool Spot. Do you remember him? He was basically just a red circle, and I think he was the logo. He was used to advertise 7-Up. Quite like that. I quite like the kind of basicness of it. Wasn't a fan of Horace. I thought he was horrible. He was a horrible looking creature. Excuse me. I do quite like Rockford. I think there's something about him. Again, it's probably just a nostalgia thing. You know, back when Zap came out, I do like Rockford. I'm not really a fan of any sort of mascots in modern games. I don't think I really play any of these at all. So no, I think that's... Hopefully that'll answer your questions, Chris, and thank you again. Right, Mr. Bentley, David Bentley, thank you very much, David, for joining me, or for joining the channel. I think I've seen you in the live streams, but it's always really nice to get new people coming in and answering or asking questions. Fine waffling, sir. A question. If it's already been asked, please ignore it. What was the most money you've wasted on a peripheral that didn't quite live up to your expectations? Oh, blimey. Well, I think... I cannot believe that. That is bizarre. Colin has asked the same question. Well, I've already given that. I've never really bought anything that was utterly wasted. Yeah, I've already answered it. Sorry, David. A great question. Yours was a £500 on an Amiga 60 accelerator board. You know, this is a thing. I've never really gotten the whole accelerator board on an Amiga. I mean, if you're using an Amiga as your kind of workhorse PC, I understand you want it to be quicker. But given, I would imagine 99% of people are just going to use it to play games, I never really saw the point. I mean, games were written to run at a certain speed. The only games that are going to benefit, I would imagine, would be like your Formula 1s, your 3D stuff. But, you know, that's a lot of money just to have that. I mean, I bought myself it was a budget accelerator board. I think it's running at 4 times the speed of an Amiga 1200. And it's also given me 60 meg of memory. And that was about 100 quid. And that does me. So I've never really... If anybody can explain why you would want to own a really good accelerator board in Amiga, please put your comments down below. I'm not taking the piss, I am genuinely interested. So anyway, David, sorry for the question, mate. Colin, you and Colin also had good taste. Sir Lancelot, a multi-display setup certainly makes things easier, and I think you're thinking of Darius, not that failure from X Factor, the 3-screen shooter. Yeah, I do remember that one, Adam. Is it possible to connect? Is it possible to have Darius over 2 screens in MAME? If it is, please let me know. You oldie gamer Steve, I highly recommend Tesco's own brand of crisps. Was I talking about crisps last week? I think it was. We used to always buy Walkers, but now we have Tesco's crisps because they're less greasy, taste so much nicer. On the dual monitors, I've been... It's just the fact that you're talking about crisps and then it jumps to dual monitors. On the dual monitors, I've been using 2 monitors now for something like 67 years. 67 or 627 years. I was going to say, Steve, I knew you were old, mate, but I didn't realise you were that old. I would never go back to a single one. Question for you: with Christmas coming up, which classic system that you don't already own would you like to get as a present? I mean, I've pretty much got, apart from the one I keep saying, a Sharp X68000. It's never going to happen. FM Towns Marty, another one that I'm never likely to get. I wouldn't mind the new PC Engine. I would really like that, but I don't think anyone's got it for me. Yeah, so the little PC Engine Mini, Steve, definitely. GTB Films, Alan, for light gun games it's worth checking out a Dolphin bar. They're about 30 quid, work with PCs and Raspberry Pi, and I'm just recognised as a mouse. Used with a Nintendo Wii controller, works pretty well and a lot cheaper option than an aim track and wireless. I remember, I'm sure that you've got one, Alan, haven't you? I'm sure you've let me see it working. I think you've done a video quite a while back. So thanks for the... in fact, Alan, if you could maybe put a link to it, that'd be really interesting to actually see it. But thanks for the tip, Alan. London Retro Video Games. Lewis, funny hearing you talk about multiple monitors. I've been using multiple monitors for about 15 years. When I joined my last company, I set 3 monitors up on my desk. Everyone else was using one. A week later, everyone was using multiple monitors. I ended up with 6 monitors on my desk at that job. 6 monitors? You can't surely connect 6. I know I can connect 3, or is it 4? Yeah, I've got, is it 3 digital outs or something, I think it is. So I could technically have 4. That's insane. Can you imagine that? You'd have to turn your head like that. That would be awesome. Or maybe not. Ox is saying, yeah, I was moaning about my heater in my car. Maybe you've switched the car thermostat to Fahrenheit. 40 degrees Fahrenheit is about 4 Celsius. No, I wish it was, Neil. I simply can't get any heat in the car at the moment, so that's a pain in the arse. Just incidentally, Neil, you mentioned in the live stream about an up-to-date, a more modern VIC-20 game base. Now, a lot of the game bases I've got, like the BBC, the Atari 800, the Atari ST, they're all years old, or 10 years old. Neil, if you've got any links to where I can get more up-to-date ones, apart from that site that we must not talk about, can you message me, please? I did message in Discord just to ask, because I'd love to get more up-to-date ones, because it certainly makes doing videos a lot easier, so that would be fantastic. Highlander, I couldn't work without dual monitors. I rely on them for my job. I saw Mike Tyson in Vegas once. He walked past me in one of the hotels. I certainly wouldn't want to get in a disagreement with him. Yeah, brilliant. Milthy Swinbuckle, hello again, Mainmeister. Question for the next waffle. Which of the legendary arcade machine games has aged the most? Here's a quick list of a few to consider, just to jog your old Scottish grey matter. Space Invaders, Robotron, Berserk, Pac-Man, Tetris, Kung Fu Master, Galaxians, Asteroids, Frogger, Missile Command, Street Fighter 2. Right, you know what I'm just going to do? I'm going to see whether I think, I'm going to go through that list, Milty, and see if I think they've aged. Space Invaders, I don't think you're going to get any new person. Somebody who's young, I don't think is really going to find anything interesting in Space Invaders, because it is basically quite a boring game, but I do like it because I'm old. You know, it takes me right back to being in the sports centre when I was like 12 years old. So I think Space Invaders, I don't think it's aged particularly well. I mean, it's a classic game. It's one of the first arcade games that really kicked this whole thing off. I don't think it's aged particularly well. I think if you showed it to a 12-year-old, they'd probably get quite bored with it. But personally, I still love it. Robotron has not aged at all. Berserk, you'll not get a more dull-looking game, but it's a fantastic game. Again, I don't think you're going to get any young players wanting to play it. Pac-Man is Pac-Man. I don't think that has aged at all. Tetris, again, I mean, Tetris was kind of... I mean, it came out in 1989, so it was already dated. And Tetris is a great game. Kung Fu Master, still a great game. It looks I don't think it looks that good. Even back in the day, I remember thinking it didn't look that great. Galaxians, no, hell no, that's still a fantastic game. Still looks amazing. Asteroids is basic looking, but it's the beautiful vector graphics, so that's a cracker. Frogger again, yeah, it's old people like myself are still going to enjoy it, but you know, a new audience, I'm not convinced. Missile Command, I remember thinking Missile Command was an ugly looking game back in 1982 or whenever it came out, and I still stand by that, but it's a great game. And again, I think it's one of these games I don't think younger people would really want to play because it's just so dull. Lines coming down a screen, you know what I mean? But if you actually get to play the game, it's an amazing game. Street Fighter 2, no, I think that's aged pretty well, to be fair. It has. R-Type, no, that's still a cracking game. Still looks beautiful, still plays really well. Pole Position, yeah, again, it's not a game I'm particularly fond of. It's way too difficult. I think without the proper steering wheel, and as much as it still looks nice when you consider when it came out, I think the driving games they've come on in leaps and bounds. So yeah, Pole Position, I've got some nice memories of playing the game, but I don't think it's aged that well. Super Sprint, again, it came out, I'm thinking that is a modern game. I think it is what it is. I still think it's a really, really nice game. Mortal Kombat, the original ones look shite, but my goodness, you should, well, you're on YouTube because you're watching this, do a search, Mortal Kombat 11. Just put Mortal Kombat 11 death moves. Wow. If you thought you'd seen imaginative ways to kill somebody, watch Mortal Kombat death moves. It's just mental, and the graphics are so realistic looking. Talk about bloodthirsty. Completely over the top, but amazing. Pengo, it was shite then and it's shite now. Defender, oh wow, never anybody knock Defender. It still looks and sounds awesome and it still plays perfect. It's probably the best video game ever. Donkey Kong, again, I think it has dated, but people love Donkey Kong. It's a classic game. Mario Brothers, again, it's an old game, not a massive fan of it. Arkanoid, again, I think that's still stands up. Some people might play and think, oh, it's a bit dull, but if you actually play Arkanoid, you'll realise it's a great game. Battlezone, again, I think it's vector graphics. I don't think you're going to get a new audience to play it. It's very atmospheric. Again, I think if it's of its time and to people a certain age, I think they'll enjoy it. As an example, I would say Space Invaders, though it still has its charm, has aged a bit and would be a bit hard to sell to a new audience. Exactly what I'm saying there, Milfy. Whereas Robotron is great now as it was back in the day. Yep, you've said exactly what I said. How the hell did fucking Pengo sneak into this list of classics? Damn you, Pengo, you waddling, flightless, ice-pushing fuckwit. And Cauldron of Stardust, a fantastic Sega CD game, is Sonic CD. There are many fans of Sonic the Hedgehog who cite it as the best Sonic game ever made. I've got as far as level 2 in Sonic, and that is the furthest I've got. So anyway, listen guys, thank you very much for all the questions. Please keep them coming for next week. Thanks as always. Thank you as always to the fantastic support you guys give me on my sort of videos that I put out during the week, especially on the Sunday live stream. You know, if you're new to the channel and you like it, then why not subscribe, because then you'll get little notifications. I think there's a bell thing. People go into this bell thing. Apparently there's a bell thing you can click, and it means that when I upload a video, you'll get a notification. Yeah, and finally, 7 o'clock till 9 on Sunday, it's going to be the Atari ST Part 2. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend, guys. Until next time, take care and thank you very much for watching.